think what you have to do is you have to plan it ahead of time. So you're not looking at the internet that time while you're working. You're not turning on the TV, because those are all distractions that are getting us away from planning a proper meal. Prepping the night before for sure helps. You know, you want to take 10 minutes, like you would prepare your schedule, your agenda for a meeting the next day. So you want to take 10 minutes, I think, Rose, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to just make sure you're asking your family what they want to prepare, what they're interested in eating. And I think you want to, you want to take the time to prepare the meal, whether it's to take things out of the freezer, whether it's to chop vegetables, whether it's to research a recipe. That's the time to do it. So I think that's helped me quite a bit. And in terms of the snacks, I'm a chipaholic, love chips. I know that's my downfall, so I just don't bring them into the house. You know, I mean, there are times and places when I do it, or I don't open that bag of chips. So I think it's creating a shopping list that, for one, doesn't give you the temptation of eating those things because they're in the home. And two is that you've got to plan your day. You certainly got to plan your day, stick to your routine. And then, of course, what helps me is stocking my pantry and my fridge. Stocking a healthy pantry means that there are some food groups that you include in your pantry. Things like the smart carbohydrates, things like protein. We can get more into it. I don't want to sort of get into the details of how you stock the pantry. But stocking your pantry builds a foundation of good eating, good healthy meal planning. So things like smart carbs, whether it's oats or barleys or brown rices, proteins, good proteins, things like nuts and seeds, omega-3s like canned tuna and sardines, and so things like that, and nuts and things like quinoa and some other great alternatives for you. So those are some tips. I don't know if I'm sure Rose can add to that, but certainly I try and stay away from the temptations. I set routines, and I build a foundation with my pantry and my fridge. In my fridge, of course, always fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, great low sugar yogurts, so fat yogurts, things that I know that I can grab quickly, whether it's because I'm trying to fit it into a conference call or I'm running out to a meeting. So if I grab an apple, I grab some carrot sticks, I grab a dip, fresh water, things that I think I can grab or I can implement throughout the day that don't take a lot of time to prepare, but at the same time give me a good sort of amount of nutrients.
Rose, would you want to add anything to that?
Sure. Anybody here like chocolate?
Are you going to say the chocolate?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's about having the healthy chocolate in your pantry.
Yeah.
So if you make a really great choice, like there's these chocolate chips by Camino that the sugar, it's cane sugar or raw sugar. So if I really have a chocolate fix that sitting around and I'm doing my work and everything, I can go and take a handful of that. So it's healthy versus having what's not healthy. I agree with everything you said. How old are your kids?
I have an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Great, and so my kids are grown up, so it's a great mix. So when my kids were younger, the first thing I did when I thought about this is I took all the dishes and I put them at a level so that they could be partake in setting the table. And then make sure all the healthy stuff was at a level that when they opened the cupboard, that they could see it. So do the same thing for yourself, right? Have it on available. And honestly, because now it's just my husband and I, and we're both really busy, I don't always have a lot of food in the house, but when I have something we want to snack on, it's going to be, I'm gluten-free and dairy-free, so it's going to be on a very healthy level, but there's this new chocolate, sorry, it's chocolate. It's a chocolate sprouted brown rice cereal, right? And so yesterday we were just watching some TV, so the two of us are munching on that. So taking that aside, I just want to add what you said about vegetables and fruits. Have the healthy stuff in your fridge for sure. And if anything, if you're running late like this morning and you have a bit of healthy protein and you have a bunch of spinach, take it in your hand. Make sure your hands are clean. Take it in your hand with a little bit of, I had some healthy turkey that I got at Nature's Emporium. It's organic. Squish it together, ate it, grabbed some water, and ran to the meeting today. So, right? And I feel great.
I have another one that's sort of a good sort of on the run snack, and that's boiled eggs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have one of those in the fridge too.
So there's little things like that. It's whether it's your nut butters and your little containers in your pantry, in your fridge.
Yeah.
you're grabbing your apple, you're running out, and then, you know, as you're sort of
Spooning,
chewing on it, you're
yeah.
spooning on
Yeah, absolutely.
your nut spread.
You can take a tablespoon or a teaspoon of your nut spread, and that's your good protein, right? Get in the car and make sure you're driving safe and eating your spoonful of nut spread.
Sure. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think that's the message.
No,
you
very
get.
simple.
I think when people embark on a sort of path to.
She had a question, but
Oh,
but you could finish what you were saying.
Oh, so
Yeah.
when you're embarking on a path to get healthy, I think people, perhaps they overplan, they overthink it. They almost defeat themselves before they get started. And so, you know, yes, I'm all for it. I'm gonna start cooking healthy. And then all of a sudden they're overwhelmed because they've planned 3 recipes they've never cooked in one night.
Absolutely.
Don't do it.
Time.
Mm.
Time to
You know,
proceed.
and the time, and picking the right time to do it, because when you're working, you're working. Your mind, of course, can be somewhere else, and that's where the planning comes in. Either it's the night before, or it's when, you know, the kids are coming grocery shopping with you. That's the time to plan. When you're working, you're working. But if you've prepped it 10 minutes beforehand, whether it's the night before or the morning of, then your mind is sort of more focused on your work. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be one new recipe a week, start with that. And then, you know, and try different things. You know, be adventurous on your path and your journey to eat healthy and to make it a priority with your family. And sorry, I just want to add one more thing. I'm getting going now.
Well, that's the idea. I was going to add something to that too. Yes. Great. No, go ahead.
So, and I think again, when you're starting on this journey, because it really does mean making a commitment and making it a priority, is to be careful of the sabotagers, and that means get buy-in with your family first. You know, ask your family, get them to be part of this. You know, my kids will say, really, we're gonna choose that over that, and I said, okay. So then, what are we gonna choose? Let's make that choice together.
Absolutely.
You don't want to eat this pasta? Let's go to the grocery store. Let's find something that I'm okay with, you're okay with, Dad's okay with. Let's do this. And so you want to start off by getting everybody's buy-in, and that means that your husband who doesn't want to eat the white, you know, the multigrain pasta and prefers the white. It means the kids who want the chips instead of the whole grain crackers. You know, it's things like that. And so I think you have to start slowly. You have to get the buy-in, and you can't defeat yourself before you get started. Think small and work your way out.
I'm just adding to that, because if you're talking about salt, it's a craving, right?
Mm.
So if you're craving, because we only know about chips to be great salty snack, there's other great snacks that will give you the same taste, you know, that same salty taste, but it's way healthier for you. So it's also a matter of taking a little bit of time and researching different things of what you could have in the house. My big thing is don't have the chocolate chip cookies. Healthy.
Oh,
But
not
not
healthy,
healthy
but
ones.
actual chips.
Oh, that's what
Chocolate chip bag.
So choose the healthier one, and if you're not sure what that means, take a little bit of time when you have, you know, a Sunday or Saturday. There's so many great stores now that offer everything. Yes, I was
At the
that's where I
super-
ran in for my turkey.
At the superstore, they have ones that are sweetened with stevia.
It's great, right? Great. So that lowers your high glycemic level, and everything is excellent. And the other thing was you were mentioning with the kids, with the buy-in, but for those who maybe don't have kids in the house, or on their own, or cooking for others, cooking for elderly and that, and having them buy into it, it's about just making everything really simple, things that you would normally make. And I do a lot of Italian cooking. I'm not saying we're on the same level at all, but I do a lot of Italian cooking because my husband's a wannabe, right? And that's what he loves. But I had to create it creatively, so he would have brown rice pasta, so we could only have one. So find really simple things that you already do and you love, and just find some extra stuff to change it up to make it healthier. And, right? And I love being really simple. I can cook a meal. I can cook a meal for 20 people probably in 1 hour, providing I have the stuff in the house. Right? But
That's
because
impressive.
it's very, very simple, and everyone will be smacking their lips. So it's just
lean on what you
simple.
love for sure. I mean, it's no different than creating a business plan or creating an agenda for a meeting. You know, if it's things that you really want to start sort of focusing on, create a list of here's some great snacks I can grab. Just as a reminder, as a refresher. Maybe you want to pin it up for a little bit until you get sort of into a routine. You know, use it as a checklist. Here are the snacks that I have options to grab as I'm going out, or as I'm working, or as I'm taking my own breaks during
Absolutely.
my day.
And recognize what your strengths are, but also recognize what your cravings are. So I was a sugarholic. My 20s and 30s, it was 2 double dip chocolate donuts with double coffee.
Wow.
And I'm running to the bathroom, right? So, not to get graphic, but it made me sick, but I didn't know, but I was craving it. So know what your cravings are, and then find out the alternatives to have in the house, and don't have the stuff you crave. At least if you're working at home, don't have it in the house. The odd time you have it when you're out or you're somewhere, that's a different story, but don't have it at home, right?
Yep.
And the other thing that I did, I started over the last so many years, because now organics is not as expensive as regular, so I really choose to eat as much organic as I can. But there's frozen organic broccoli and frozen organic spinach, and if you have a couple bags in the house all the time, and let's say you run in and you forgot to shop or you couldn't shop, you can always pull that out, whip it up with some great tomato sauce, and throw in some protein, and away you go, you got a meal. It's really simple.
Tina?
2 questions. I know that Rose does juicing in the morning,
Yes.
and I love the idea of juicing, but is there a good juicing? And the second thing is, people that have nut allergies,
Yes.
is options for that.
Yes.
I mean, the spreads and dips and things like that.
Well, nuts are
Nuts
really
are
great
great
at protein, but I'm anaphylactic. I can't have tree nuts, and so I can't have peanuts also. So
And
it's
you're vegetarian as well.
well, yeah.
Yes.
So how do we, like, and, I crave that stuff, and the other people in the house sometimes sneak the things in, and the other thing is the chips, healthy chips. So like I made kale chips, but
Kale
are there other chips, because they are like the saltaholics, and I'm the chocoholic, so.
The kale chips, yeah. I tend to lean on legume-based dips, so it might be a white bean dip, it might be a hummus dip. I love those, and they're as easy as spreading, enough butter and taking that to go with carrots, celery, cucumbers, whatever, guacamole. I love guacamole. Make it almost every second day. Kids love it. The kids love it as a spread, as a dip.
Salsa as well.
Salsa's a great one. I love that.
Salsa.
So, you like that?
No, I don't like
Oh, you
salsa.
don't like salsa?
I seem to have an, yeah.
But the alternative chips, have you found it? Because I have a couple.
I have Mary's crackers are
Yes,
great.
yeah.
I really enjoy them. Some of the organic, non-GMO tortilla chips
Yes.
that are lower in salt.
Neil makes some good.
Yeah, Neil's makes some great ones. I tend to lean on those when I'm having that salt craving, the sweet potato chips. It depends on the
Yes.
brands.
Kosher names.
The kale chips are a good alternative, and the children love them, which makes me really happy because we don't have to fight about getting chips into the house. The crackers are good too. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Does that help you out?
Yeah.
Great.
And the juicing, so what do you put in the juicing?
Do you juice as well?
I juice from time to time. Again, it's more because I want to get the kids involved. So I tend to do what they want to do. So are you looking for, in juicing, you're looking for some alternatives?
Recipes.
Recipes.
Because, the greens and the other stuff, and just throwing it all together, and
Whatever.
I think it's make
Yeah.
it whatever you want.
Yeah.
And don't discount little, like a little sort of pinch of whatever, whether it's nutmeg or whether it's ginger, just to change the flavors of things. And choose things that are in season. That's what I would recommend.
Absolutely.
Always choose things like peaches right now, man, the flavor from peaches, whether you're juicing it or you're grilling it or you're putting it into a salad and, you're putting it into a salsa. I mean, I love them, when you're having them with a wine beverage, whatever.
we never tried it.
But anyhow, I think for me, it's picking things that are in season. I always incorporate fresh herbs. The great thing about fresh herbs these days is that not only do we can grow them now these days in our own backyard, but they're available all year round. It's amazing. My dad was in the grocery business for his whole entire working life, and there was a very limited sort of weeks probably beyond the summer where we could get fresh herbs. Now we get them all season long. So don't discount the herbs in your juice or in your salads or to top your pasta or to top your grilled fish or whatever it is. So fresh herbs for sure. And then there are little cheats that I've learned, like adding protein with skim milk powder or other protein powders.
Yeah,
things
the
like
brown
that.
rice powder,
Brown rice
and
powders.
there's bean
Hemp.
powder, there's hemp if you can handle that. And you don't want to, the trick that I found with juicing is I always have some staples in the house. So there's always either some fresh kale or some fresh spinach or both. There's always carrots, there's always like the mini cucumbers and celery. So would be my main. So let's say there's nothing else in the house, I can make a juice from that and it's healthy. and then you throw in some ginger and you're boosting your immune system.
Love ginger.
Right, yeah, me too. So, and then if you want to have it very green, you make it very green. If you want to add in then a little bit of, I love green apples, I love pears. Beets are great to juice, and I love the amber, I call them the amber beets, what are they, the golden beets,
Yeah.
right? The amber
And the
beets.
beet greens, right?
And the beet greens are good
Which are
as
really good for
well,
us as well.
right? And even like
Don't
if you
throw
buy
it
the
out.
carrots, I just learned
Really?
this actually, I don't usually buy the carrots with the long greens, but
Yeah.
if you do, don't throw that
Don't
out. So
Right.
throw
throw it out.
everything in. So just have your staples in the house, and I find that the juicing really just gives me that energy boost in the morning. But it's still fiber, so if you're gonna add, whether you're juicing or you're making
Smoothie.
smoothies, and if you're adding things like protein powder or hemp or flax or anything, remember it's very fibrous, very
Yes.
fibrous. For the women
You
in
don't
the
need a lot.
you don't need a lot, and you really have to double up on your water. So have a glass of water even before, like I'll have a glass of water before, with my probiotics, before I start have a juice in the morning. And I don't even go crazy. I have my favorite cup. I always have something favorite. It's gotta be glass. And I have probably about, it's a cup of juice. Because I make stuff for my neighbor. It keeps me going. It's been a year. I started juicing again last year. I gave it up and then I take it on and whatever.
I'm
Right? Yeah, right. So last year when I started,
Nothing.
I started
Yeah,
delivering
yeah,
across
do
the
that
street
too.
to my neighbor, and I still do. She's away this week, so I'm like looking at the juicer and I go, no, Rose, you have to juice, right? But I'll make 2 cups of juice. I put some in a mason jar, and I run across the street, take a little exercise, come back. It's just part of the day. It's crazy, I know, but
I love that. Would you store it in the mason jar for the next day?
I haven't tried that yet. Because it would be great talking about.
I do that. I'll make juice and it'll last me for a day or
I've
so.
always taught that it doesn't have a shelf life for very long, but I know during the day, it doesn't have 24
I
hours.
freeze mine.
Yeah, I
I
find that
actually
too.
take it and put it in the freezer. I'm a smoothie juicer, I guess.
Okay,
because
yes.
I put everything in my Blendtec.
Yes.
Just
Oh,
talking
yay,
You
yay.
have to have a
Yeah,
Blendtec
yeah.
or Vitamix. Like
Yeah.
to me, if
Yeah.
I had to throw in, and before we wrap up this question, I want to throw it around to see if there's any other tips. But for me, my saving grace is when I bought a Blendtec
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Vitamix.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
one or the other. If you don't have one of them, Shopping Channel had them last
They
time.
had them. Yes, yes.
I saw it, but I swear to God, Tina, to your point, it's
Yeah.
like I open the fridge, I open the vegetable drawer, and I go poop.
Yeah.
And then the fruit, throw in ginger, press.
I have a hand mixer, a Cuisinart hand mixer,
Okay.
and it has a little container it comes with, and I can do a smoothie, I can do a
Yeah.
whip thing, and then it has a lid on it, you can put in the fridge or freezer
Yeah.
and use that. So
And
use that.
I do that whole thing, and then it's about 24 ounces, and I drink about 12 of it, and the rest of it I put into the freezer and take out when I leave, so it stays cold.
It's a slushy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like today I was having it with a spoon because it had frozen enough, and I thought, but the thing is you could put in chia seeds,
Yes.
flax seeds,
Yes. Just don't oversee.
Don't
Don't oversee it.
tablespoon.
Not even.
Oh, really?
No?
Okay.
No.
Okay,
Like,
so
don't
there you go.
So
oversee.
I've been putting too
Like
much.
I've been putting too much
You
in.
need to flush that out.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I do have plenty of water.
Okay. You know my middle name, right?
Yes.
So you need to flush that out.
Yes. And maca. For
What's maca?
Mac is great,
It's maca.
providing you're not having any hot flashes, or it's helping you if you are having hot flashes. It's a whole other conversation, right? Because maca works with your hormones as well. It's a great product.
It's an antigen.
And
an
yes,
adaptogen.
yes, but I just want to say one quick thing. Don't forget, other than juicing in water, don't forget to chew your smoothies. Because
Yeah,
in order
and
to
juices
break down
too.
everything and to get our happy
Mhm.
not probiotics, what's the
Saliva.
one? Yes, but it's
The enzyme, digestive enzymes.
we have to chew, right? So if you're just even guzzling a juice, you're not breaking it down, even though we think we're